Today, I want to talk about what it means to be coachable. That word is used a lot in the mentoring business, the advising business, so let's get right down to it. I'm going to start with an analogy experience that I had. I was living in Washington, D.C., and somebody had taken this old abandoned school and turned it into this amazing gymnasium complex just a few blocks from my house. And it had been years since I'd played squash, and I decided I was going to get back into the game. And then they had these little tournaments, and of course, I was losing, and I don't like to lose. So I thought, why not get some coaching? They had a squash pro on the staff, and I took some lessons. And here was the first thing he did. He said, look at the way you're holding your racket. I want you to turn the racket. I was holding like a tennis racket. He said, in squash, you have to hold the racket differently. And so he twisted the racket in my hand like almost a quarter of a turn. And I just felt like a complete dork. It made no sense at all. He said, just do what I say, and I'm going to start hitting you some shots. And really, within a few minutes, suddenly I saw, like, it was just night and day. There's no way I could have been a good player if I insisted on doing the thing that I was comfortable about. And, you know, in this kind of field of advising or mentoring or coaching people talking about, getting out of your comfort zone. And I disagree with that. I don't coach that way, because I coach and mentor in a way where people are safe doing things they've never done before, where they suddenly realize that actually that's the safer or the better way. But some people are just not coachable. And what is the cause of that? It's because they want to hold on to their way of thinking too hard. And so, it's a kind of it's a level of trust with the person who is advising you, because if you already knew the answer, then you wouldn't have reached out to me or anybody else to get assistance. And then here, suddenly, now you're in a meeting, you're on a call, or you've got some homework, and that resistance to trying it a different way, well, it's just going to set you back to exactly where you are already, and then you're going to keep getting the same results. So why do I do this? Because I've had amazing experiences in my life. And it would take many, many videos to go over all of them, and I probably will do a little of that. But just my very first experience in this kind of teaching, I had been working 80 hours a week, and I learned something very subtle about what I was doing, and suddenly I realized that I could save 40 hours a week, like literally 40 hours a week of my time at the job was completely useless. It was a complete waste of time. And that all I had to do was say a few things, and suddenly I was back to a 40-hour week, which really mattered to me because I had a 1-year-old son, and I really wanted to spend time with him. And it had gotten to the point where I felt like my work life was completely in conflict with my family life. And when I saw that I was doing something that I didn't even see that I was doing, and that I could suddenly save, 40 hours a week of time at the office and spend that with my son, that was the greatest thing. And I remember thinking in that time that if this mentoring worked, that I would be a better fundraiser, and then raise enough money, and then hire a secretary who would do all this work for me so that I could then spend time with my son. And instead, I just wow. I never did hire a secretary, and I raised more money, but I got the time that I wanted immediately. So I spent a whole life not perceiving that I was doing that until somebody showed me. But it takes a certain kind of open-mindedness to be coachable, to listen and just try. Just see what the other person is saying and try it on, give it a test. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But to be coachable means that you're at least open to trying, open to letting the coach, like my former squash coach, just let him twist the racket in your hand and then try and see what happens when you do it somebody else's way instead of your own way. That's being coachable.